Harley. Slowly.
Potentially the next test of the AI trade, just a few hours away from new numbers out of chipmaker Cerebras, its first earnings report since going public back in May. Christina Partsinevelos is here with what we should be looking for. Christina.
Yeah, well, the stock actually popped 68% in its debut in May that you mentioned, but it's down more than 31% from the first day close. Investors are just trying to figure out how much to pay for. We need, because once you raise capex, that means you're increasing supply, and then ruins the dynamics between supply and demand, and that's why prices are so elevated. So I think to your point, it's a mixed. I don't know. I saw some reports saying that if capex goes up, that's a bad thing, and some saying we need capex to go a little bit higher in order to deal with this issue, or else you're going to see this conservative build out for quite some time.
Okay, we'll see what we get. Christina, thank you very much. Christina Partsinevelos, Cerebras after FedEx is also coming.
Yeah, and KBH, I think, tonight, right?
Yeah, and FedEx has been, a strong performer. It's been a cost-cutting story, but also we'll be eager to hear what they have to say about the state of manufacturing. We got some good flash PMI numbers in the U.S., and FedEx CEO Raj Subramanian has been talking about an inflection point in the outlook for manufacturing getting better, at least here in the U.S.
Yeah, manufacturing print for us, best since May of 22, as we continue to get some acceleration in the old industrial parts of the economy. VIX still up 20. Let's get to the judge at post 9.
Carl, thank you very much. Welcome to the Halftime Report. I'm Scott Wapner, front and center this hour, the latest in the market.
A lot of time on the 52-week low list. Certainly am not looking for stocks that are trading at 11-year lows, but that's where Nike is. This thing is trading where it was in 2015. There are a lot of good reasons why not worth spending time on it. Everybody understands the negatives. Their China business is a mess. There's a ton of competition. They've had some missteps on some of their sub-brands. Over-reliance on the Jordan franchise, Air Force One, Air Max 95. Like everybody on this desk, everybody in the building you're in, Judge, can go through the litany. I understand all that. The stock is at its worst drawdown ever since coming public. Ever. 73% below highs. Now, you might say it should be. Okay, well, it is. So congratulations. You're as good at reading news as I am. It is, however, looking like some people are coming in at this level routinely. It bottomed here in April, and so far that bottom seems to be holding. So maybe there's a trapdoor and the real bottom is 32. I don't really know. But what I will tell you is this. This stock has not had a positive year since 2021. It's been down 5 years straight.
Josh Strong is really a big mouth.
19% a year.
Really.
Annualizing at negative 1% a year for the last decade. This is very, very rare. And they report a week from today. The earnings will be terrible. Okay? Everyone knows that, though. That's what's in the consensus forecast. 2% decline in revenue year over year, 13% decline in earnings. Let me get to my point. There's big insider buying in the stock in 2 ways. In December 2025, Tim Cook, yes, Tim Apple, who was a board member, bought 50,000 shares, increased his own stake by 90%. Another board member, Robert Holmes Swan, bought 8,700 shares. Rick Holmes, the new CEO, bought 16,000 and change shares, which is $1 million open market purchase.
Harley.
And in April, they bought again.
Harley.
Tim Cook bought
This way,
25,000
Hardy,
shares
this way.
at $42.
Go.
And
No.
Hill bought another
I'm already.
24,000 shares at 42. So these are people who have operational insight into what's going on in the business. And what I can tell you,
Hardy.
I think they nailed it with the NBA playoffs and the Knicks. I think they had the shoes ready. They had Timmy Chalamet. They had the celebrities wearing the shoes. And here's what they're doing differently. Rather than a drop where the robots just buy all the strategy, people would call product market fit. So I don't think that those issues are fixed anytime soon. I like the CEO buying open market. I like Tim Cook, another board member, buying open market. I like a setup where the stock is down 75% from its high. If they have another bad quarter, no one's going to be like, oh my God, did you see what Nike just said? Everybody knows. Everybody knows. So I could be wrong.
Hardy, go.
Basically say price falls by X percent, I'm out of it. It's more difficult to manage a stock that's wallowing at the bottom. It's down 60+% over the last 5 years. So Josh, is it interest rates not coming down? Part of the thesis was that going this year, the Fed was going to cut rates 1, 2, 3 times. And I've been saying for probably a month or two that it's going to be years before they can cut rates. Now, they don't have to hike rates, but higher for longer puts pressure on the tech trade. Otherwise, it would be a Micron story, and the rest of the semis and the rest of the tech trade would be higher. And then we see this kind of shift. And it's not a big deal. I don't think rates are much higher. I'm not expecting a hike cycle. But I think that you're seeing a little pressure on technology, very specifically because of interest.
Hardy.
There's great pressure. You buy that? I think the market is just very sensitive to rotating position. You have Micron earnings tomorrow, overnight. KOSPI down 10%, SK Hynix down 10%, Samsung down 10%. Guess what? All of these stocks yesterday, these memory stocks, these semiconductor stocks, we were sitting here 24 hours ago and we were talking about being at all-time highs. We were talking about KLA Corp, Applied Materials, Lam Research. Those stocks go down 10% today. So what did that do? That broke the fever in the momentum factor. The momentum factor had been
Macron,
market over the last
Microsoft. We could also focus on the recent support and limitation surviving line.
This is nothing more than, as I see it, as relief from extreme positioning as it related to those momentum factor areas. Look today, financials are higher. Guess what? The momentum names, Interactive Brokers, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, they're down. This is a recalibration towards momentum.
Yeah, I think the real
Hardy, we are going to the sports field.
problem that people aren't understanding on this is that it's never different this time. And as a sector strategist for years and years and years, you know, the chips remain the most volatile earner of all the semiconductor names and all in memory chips, and in Micron in particular, number one. So
Our market hasn't been treating them as
No,
a
it hasn't.
volatile
And
earner. It's
that's-
been treating them as a guaranteed earner.
that's why it's never different this time. So I caution that. You know what's really interesting though? The stock market is a market of stocks, and if you take a look at the Russell 1000 value index in the technology sector, in Russell 1000 value, it's up 101%. And big part of it is Micron, some of these down and out names before that. So I know Santoli's talked a lot about the repositioning of the indices. It's going to be really important at the end of this quarter, but stocks are rarely linear for long, and I think this is just all part of gravity coming back down, and they better crush the earnings tomorrow, or they're going to have to, it's going to prove what the reality is, and the reality is these earnings remain volatile.
Josh, what do you see here when you look at these names and now how volatile they've gotten?
I'm going to tell you the one thing that nobody has ever said about momentum stocks, but it's absolutely something that I've learned over 30 years on the street as being one of these elemental truths. The problem, every investment strategy has a problem. Okay, so we talked about Nike. The problem with value investing is that the fundamentals deteriorate just when the stock looks cheap. This is the other version. The problem with momentum is that the holders are low conviction. So the higher the momentum a stock has, the lower the conviction of holders. Why is that the case? Because they're in the stock to begin with, primarily because the stock's going up. So once that stops and goes into reverse, they're not like looking up the 8K and trying to familiarize themselves with the cash flows. They sell it. So, you have a lot of people that are in these names, not because they don't like the business or the company or the founder or the CEO, but primarily I bought the stock because it's going up and I want to own a stock that's going up. And once that goes into reverse, there's no conviction there, which exacerbates the sell-offs. And if you don't understand that, you shouldn't be in these names to begin with.
The other story I wanted to get to is SpaceX, which is, as we said, trying to find its footing a little bit. Had a great IPO, clearly, down 3 days in a row, stock's now green. Kevin Simpson, you bought more of it. When did you do that and why?
So we talked about this at the close on Friday, and we took a small position. This is a stock that we're not trading for a week or two. Everything that Josh said about the retail momentum trader is accurate. Anyone that's in this name, the top is out of it because it's rolled over. Obviously, it's not 210 or 213. Back here in the 150s, 160s. This is a better entry point, but I don't know that this is over. There's going to be tons of dilution on this thing as it comes off of restriction, off of lockups. We took a small position Friday. We bought a little bit more yesterday. I know that there's, you talked about it yesterday, Joe, in terms of valuations and fundamentals. There's a 24-year-old company. I think there's some fundamentals here that make sense, but the valuations are off the chart. If you're looking at it from that perspective, then wait for the stock to get lower. But we love the rocket side of the equation. We love the satellites, and there's an Elon Musk component here that we'll pay up for. And I'm going to build this position out over the next 6 months in our growth strategy. And unique to me, the volatility that's in this name will allow me to write options against it, and I'm going to write tons of premium, that's for sure. Whether or not the stock goes to 120 or 220, time will tell, but I'll be looking at that over the next year or two, not the next week.
Susquehanna initiates it today neutral, 170's price target. You don't have it? You don't want it? No, we don't own it. We own Tesla. That's been our call for the last 6 months. We're going to wait and see what happens there, but I think...
You playing for a merger between these two?
We are. And what's interesting is that I think there's such a dichotomy of what's going on with the stock right now. Typically, historically, I've not purchased IPOs until a year that they're in the public marketplace because of exactly what's going on here. Now, the accelerated impact of this stock going into indices, it's a different ballgame there. And I think the biggest problem with how you're going to be putting the stock, one indice, FactSet has it as a communication services stock. The NASDAQ has it as a technology stock, so we don't know exactly what's going to be in the technology stock. So at the end of the day, this is a name we want to own longer term, but not yet. I think it goes lower.
All right. Looking elsewhere within tech today, Apple's green, Microsoft green, Amazon green. A lot of the software names are green. Nice day serves now. Salesforce was down like 14 days in a row. Green. Palo Alto, CrowdStrike. You sold Twilio.
I got stopped out at Twilio.
Okay.
That's not a willing sale.
Okay.
That's a very disgruntled sale, and I'm sure Twilio moves higher from here. That's how the game works.
Bought at the beginning of the month.
Reached too high for it. It was a stock that was significantly outperforming the rest of its software peers. I think what we're seeing today speaks towards the positional rotation that I began the show talking about. You're seeing software moving higher. You're seeing the Mag 7 move higher, the trillion-dollar companies. Let's keep in mind over the last 5 days, they've been the drag on the market, right? It's been Microsoft, it's been Meta, has been down. So as it relates to Twilio, I made the mistake of reaching towards an all-time high to take ownership of the stock. You have to risk manage the position. I lost 18% on this trade. Not happy about it. What I'll do to comfort myself is look back on my prior trading of the last 10 years with Twilio and see some positive trades, but that doesn't really alleviate some of what I'm feeling right now.
Okay.
Elsewhere in the market, Russell coming off a new record high, was above 3,000 for the first time ever. It's a little bit below that. Rebalances this Friday. That's going to be key. Going to keep an eye on that because some of the biggest gainers may be bounced in that rebalance. Financials play a role in there, certainly the regionals. Josh, you bought Citizens Financial Group. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I talked about the stock a week or two ago. We had written up a bunch of financials as part of our best stocks in the market, commentary at CNBC Pro, and I highlighted this along with a couple of other banks and decided to pull the trigger on this the other day. It is within 1% of a 52-week high, give or take. It might be making a new high right now. RSI 66, not overbought. It's about 6% above its 50-day, 16% above its 200. So we're not buying a very extended stock that's been rallying and rallying and rallying. What's actually happening, pull this chart back a little bit, left off. What's actually happening is it's taking out prior resistance, which was, here you can see it very clearly, 68, 69 had been resistance, really going back to the beginning of the year. A lot of the financials look the same. They came in due to the Iran war. They've since been fighting back. The rates picture has been murky, blah, blah, blah. But this is a stock at 10 times earnings with 35% earnings per share growth expected this year, 23% growth next year. I just think it's mispriced. I think the market's recognizing that. And the breakout is evidence that I'm onto something. Other people agree with me. So I don't know how high she can get. I'm long. I'll probably put a stop at some point. We'll see what happens.
You still have this? You had a ton of regionals. Are you?
Yeah, we've reduced our regional positioning somewhat, but I like what Josh is doing here, and I think Scott.
So you don't have this one? Did you have this one?
We've had that one in the past in the ETF. That's correct.
Right, I thought. Okay.
But I think it's indicative of how I think Josh's move is the right one. Brian, you and I have talked about this in the past. The beginning of the year, financials really popular. Very strong holding in our ETF. We reduced positioning significantly in April. Scott, what I'm seeing now is a rebuilding and positioning in financials. If I could, CEO is a name I established a personal position in today. That's buying one of the exchanges. That's rebuilding the position for financials. It's the reason last week I went back into JP Morgan as well. I think a lot of people are going to look towards this sector and say, aha, okay, we were shaken out. We had a fake out in March and April. Let's go right back in.
It's starting to look better for sure. Financials. But the other thing too about the Russell 2000, man, is the kind of outperformance. So if you break it apart and you look at the S&P 600 versus the S&P 400, the S&P 600 is up 20% year to date. And a big part of that, Scott, is a lot of these awesome financial companies. We're overweight financials in our small mid-cap portfolios. This Citizen call is an amazing call. There's probably 10 charts that look like Citizen within the small cap banks. And we think going forward, as the market, we're believers in the broadening out. Small mid-cap banks are going to be part of the consolidation play, and they're going to benefit from less regulation as well over the next 6 to 12 months.
All right, the other area getting a lot of attention these days, biotechs. One of the hottest groups according to Wolf, trading at 5-year highs. All-time highs are in sight. We think the group will continue trading higher from here. Kevin, you bought more Amgen. You bought more AbbVie. Joe bought the XBI, more of that. But tell me about yours, Kevin.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity here. These are both names trading at 15 times forward earnings, so you're not overpaying. You're looking at a sector that's been somewhat out of favor, but getting and garnering a lot of attention. And one of the things I like best about the space, Scott, is I think this is an AI adjacent play. If we think about where you can actually monetize artificial intelligence, this is an opportunity both for pharma, for biotech, to bring products to market, to go through testing cheaper, faster, better. And I believe that this is one of the first sectors that's really going to be able to prove positive what AI can do for humanity. So totally psyched about these trades.
XBI since April 1st, inflows into the XBI have now totaled $941 million. That's an 11% increase, $448 million yesterday. 3 consecutive days. There is evidence that positioning is returning to that biotech ETF. I think it goes to the February 2021 high of 174.
Okay. We'll take a break. When we come back, our calls of the day, plus Josh Brown's best stocks in the market. And later, our halftime headliner, the US Open winner, Wyndham Clark. He'll be live here at Post 9. I hope he's bringing the hardware. We'll talk to him about his win coming up.
Going back. Going back home. To some work. Where are we going? Where do we go? So where do we want to go? This way. So let me see.
Ended it up. The street got nowhere I need to be, just following my feet. Be in my right hand, rhythm in my soul. Moving to a tempo that I don't gotta control. Yeah, the breeze is blowing, stripping all the stress away. Leave the heavy luggage for a different kind of day. We just floating on the surface, keeping it so light. Every little puzzle is a perfect rewrite. Take a breath, slow it down. Listen to the magic in the background sound. Don't rush the hour, let the minute hand slow.
Yeah. Will be.
Cause we're just walking in the sunshine. Feeling so golden. Got that breezy state of mind. The world is unfolding. Let the bouncy baseline carry the weight. We're unlocking the magic, yeah, we're opening the gate. Nothing but this healing groove making us whole. Just to a rhythm for the neo soul. Yeah. Shadows playing high beneath the canopy. Everything is moving in a perfect harmony. Drop the expectations, cancel all the plans. Catching every moment right here in the palms of our hands. No rushing, no running, just a gentle glide. Taking all the universe exactly in our stride. Yeah, the frequency is rising, but the tempo stays chill. Got that effortless magic, yeah, we got the skill. Take a breath, slow it down. Listen to the magic in the background sound. Don't rush the hour, let the minute hand stall. Cause we're just walking in the sunshine. Feeling so golden. Got that breezy state of mind. The world is unfolding. Let the bouncy baseline carry the weight. We're unlocking the magic, yeah, we're opening the gate. Nothing but the ceiling groove making us soul. Just a lower rhythm for the neo soul. Every breath is a remedy. Wash away the gray, let the colors bleed through. This old school healing was written for you. Cause we're just walking in the sunshine. Feeling so golden. Got the breezy state of mind. The world is unfolding. Let the magic baseline carry the weight. We're unlocking the magic and we're opening the gate. Nothing but the healing room, making us whole. Just we're rhythm for the neo soul. We're just walking in the sunshine. Feeling for the
Breathing slow, let it stay. It's a good kind of day. A good day humming quietly in the back of my mind. Nothing perfect, still it feels warm and right inside. I know this is how the best days go. Footsteps soft across the room. Time is moving, not too soon. Every task feels light and kind. When I don't outrun my mind, no need to prove or pretend. Just begin again. A good day humming quietly like a favorite tune. Even work feels softer now under this afternoon. It's true. Happy doesn't shout, it moves. If tomorrow feels unclear, I'll stay right here. This moment's all I need to believe. A good day humming quietly. I'll remember this sound when the world feels fast and loud. I know where calm is found.
Harley, welcome back home.
Let today be just today.
Okay. So it's today's morning flash. Thanks for having me. Glad to having you. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Have a good day.